Hello everyone, welcome to part 3. Into the swamp we go. Here's a quote from Daniel Smith from 2021. None of these components can be carbon neutral without carbon capture, utilization, and storage. End quote. During the recent UCP Alberta Prosperity Project debate, Daniel Smith promoted Alberta aligning in the carbon credit climate change agenda. In 2021, Ms. Smith was appointed president of the Alberta Enterprise Group, a powerful lobby organization, where she was actively promoting carbon capture. Here's an alarming realization. A political lobbyist behind Daniel Smith is in the business of, that's right, carbon capture. Michael Binion is the individual and the political lobbyist involved in carbon capture. That carbon capture lobbyist is very well connected to Stephen Harper, Jason Kenney, and Joe Oliver, a former Conservative MP and minister who led committee meetings at the WEF summits. Mr. Oliver also holds a board position on a business interest of said carbon capture lobbyist. Here's a few headlines regarding Mr. Binion's interest in carbon capture. To solve the climate crisis, let's have a race. First to net zero wins. Quaster announces carbon capture storage. A true pricing system can create reliable incentives, end quotes. So there is $30 billion in taxpayer-funded debt on its way to Alberta. Did you know that 70% of carbon capture project costs are to be funded by taxpayers? I found it rather ironic that Mr. Binion recently won an award from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. In a Western Standard article that celebrates Binion's award, Harper called himself and Mr. Binion great friends. And in another quote by Jason Kenney, he called Binion his good friend. Here's a couple of related points. Take Back Alberta's David Parker worked for Mr. Binion, and Parker is also an owner of the Western Standard. In a conversation with Mr. Parker and Alberta Prosperity Project CEO Dennis Modre, Mr. Parker also held a strong opinion that we have to use the UCP. We have to. Rob Anderson of Free Alberta Strategy is also connected to Daniel Smith through the Sovereignty Act. He also made it known that the purpose of his organization was to fix the UCP. In another meeting that included Dennis Modre, Michael Binion, and Daniel Smith, Dennis mentioned to me that Mr. Binion does not support any conversation about an Alberta referendum on independence. So Daniel Smith offers up the Sovereignty Act, which in my opinion is all talking points with no meaningful leverage to affect change. These, in my opinion, are delay tactics, the same old, as the UN agenda comes at us like a freight train. Like the last living architect of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms proclaims, Mr. Brian Peckford, the lobbyists rule over the politician. In my involvement behind the scenes in Alberta politics, I've understood the strong reluctance to change the power structure and bring back accountability. I've been asked, Bob, wait. We can fix it. The political puppets to the lobbyists do not wish to fix or change anything. There's too much to lose on their part. It's simply a delay tactic. And then, that's right, you better vote UCP. You don't want the NDP to win. But when you acknowledge that the lobbyists are influencing Trudeau and Notley and Conservative politicians, that they are all working on the same agenda, the fear tactic of vote splitting becomes irrelevant. And make no mistake, we were never waiting on these political elites and lobbyists who covet money and power. We've been very busy. So stay tuned for part 4. an Alberta grassroots movement of the people, for the people. A solution that will create meaningful change for all Albertans. It is well underway. Get ready, Alberta. God bless you all.